This is what I made today as a private chef. It's been a while since I made miso black cod. The marinade for miso black cod is super easy. I start off with equal parts mirin and sake and start to boil out the alcohol. While that's going, I trim up the little flappy bits of the black cod, aka sable fish. If you can get black cod, I recommend that because it's meatier than sable fish, but most likely you'll have a better chance at finding sable fish. If you're in America, Whole Foods usually carries it. I cut both sides of the bones, which run halfway down the fillet, being careful not to cut into the skin and just pull out the bones with my fingers. So I messed up and didn't film it, but once the mirin and sake reduced by half, I whisked in equal parts white miso and sugar just until the miso broke up and the sugar was dissolved. Then into an ice bath so I can use it right away. And as always, I give the fish a quick sake bath to get rid of any scales and fishiness. Then in a container, I throw in the miso marinade with the black cod, making sure every surface is touching the marinade. Adding more if needed, we don't want any bland pieces. Then I cover that and let it marinate overnight. Now fast forward to the next day, start off by rinsing my rice. I got a comment saying that washing rice in a sieve will break up the rice, resulting in stickier rice, which makes sense, so I'll have to stop rinsing it this way. Rinse multiple times until the water runs clear, drain and throw in a pot with a few slices of ginger to perfume it, add water. I'm always using the finger method, bring it to a boil and into the oven at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. And that's 350 freedom degrees. Our veg for today is broccolini and broccoli from the farmer's market, so I trimmed them up, blanch in salted boiling water and shock in ice water. I toss the broccoli in olive oil and salt and throw in the oven to get roasted. The broccoli is for my clients since they find broccolini harder to digest with its fibrous stems, and their guest today prefers broccolini, so I rub the broccolini in olive oil and salt before it hits the grill to get a nice char. I then made a smashed cucumber salad by literally smashing some cucumbers. Smashing the cucumbers opens up cracks and spaces in between the cucumbers to really pick up the flavors of the vinaigrette. I make the vinaigrette by sweating green onions and garlic in a little oil, then adding soy sauce, sesame oil, rice wine vinegar, cilantro, everything bagel seasoning, sugar, and giving that a whisk before pouring that over the smashed cucumbers to marinate. I also had a few heirloom carrots I wanted to use up, so I shaved them thinly, shocked in ice water to crisp them up, and tossed with the cucumbers before serving. And for our final component, I seared some bok choy, added chicken stock and some of the miso marinade, then tossed into the oven to roast and reduce the sauce. And for the miso cod, I put them skinned down on a sheet pan rubbed with a little oil and throw them in the broiler to get beautiful caramelization on top. I also like to pull them out halfway through the cooking process and glaze them with one more layer of the miso marinade. Now to plate, our miso roasted bok choy, grilled broccolini, ginger scented jasmine rice, miso cod, and a smashed cucumber salad with shaved heirloom carrots. Off they go. That's lunch. See you tomorrow. My clients rarely ever eat pasta, so I was surprised when they asked for bolognese. Since they don't eat it that often, I have to make sure it's good. If you guys haven't seen my prime rib video, go and watch that because I used a beef tallow that was infused with rosemary, garlic, and thyme to start the bolo. I melted that down in my Le Creuset, threw in ground beef, ground veal, and ground pork. A 2:1:1 ratio. In the last restaurant that I was exec at, I used to make the sauce with braised beef cheeks, which I thought was phenomenal, if I do say so myself. But I kept it pretty classic for my clients. While the meat was searing over high heat, I chopped mirepoix, simply onions, carrots, and celery. I like to chop them kind of small because I want them to get as close to melting into the sauce as possible. Once the meat gets some nice color, I pulled the meat out and added a bit more tallow. The meat that I got was pretty lean, so it didn't give off that much fat. If anything, the meat just sucked it all up. Then I throw in the mirepoix and let that cook down for almost 4 hours. I wanted it to be fully caramelized, sweet, and basically mush. At this point, it's called sofrito, a fundamental base for a lot of Italian cooking. Then I add in garlic and let that sweat. I always like to add garlic near the end, right before I add in some kind of liquid because I really hate the flavor of even slightly burnt garlic. Then add tomato paste and cook that out until it is caramelized as well, just building flavor on top of flavor. I also really hate the flavor of raw tomato paste. I always make sure to toast and caramelize in oil to bring out the sweetness and get rid of that harsh raw tomato flavor. I add in all that seared ground meat, give that a mix before I deglaze with white wine. I know some people who use red wine in their bolo, but traditionally it's white. Once the alcohol is cooked off, I add chicken stock, bay leaves, and just a touch of crushed tomatoes. Not too much. Bolo shouldn't be a tomato-based sauce, it's a meat-based sauce. Then I threw the lid on and let that cook in the oven for an additional 4 hours before I chilled it and threw it in the fridge. It is now day 2. I like to let my bolo spend the night in the fridge for the flavors to meld together. It also makes it easier to remove all that fat. Then I brought it up to heat, let that simmer while I cook my pasta. Bolognese also traditionally has a bit of milk to make it richer, but my clients told me they did not want milk in it, so I omitted it for them. It's always about what the client wants. I used to serve my bolo with mafaldine, which basically looks like skinnier lasagna noodles with the edges, or tagliatelle, which is more traditional, but my client wanted rigatoni. With the noodles 90% of the way done, I toss with the sauce, add in pasta water to let the pasta finish cooking, a few knobs of butter to make it richer and silky, freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano to finish it up, let that emulsify and plate. Let's hope they like it. This is what I made as a private chef in Beverly Hills. My clients usually let me know the day before if they want chicken, so that I can either marinate or brine them. First things first, here's a quick clip of me removing the giblets. Look away if you're squeamish. Okay, I know it looks weird, but it took a little longer because I was live streaming and reading comments at the same time. I broke down the chicken into the wings, breast, thighs, and drumsticks. They like the thighs boneless and the drumstick bone in so that they can rip it up themselves. My clients do have a lot of dietary restrictions, but I do my best to make sure that I still serve them healthy food that is punchy and packed with flavor. It's gonna be a nice warm summer day tomorrow, so I wanted to marinate it with something herbaceous and citrusy. I squeezed lots of lime juice from these dry, crusty ass limes and blended it with cilantro, parsley, garlic, olive oil, and cumin. I rubbed the chicken with the beautifully vibrant marinade and let that chill overnight. Next morning, I knew I wanted to serve it with some healthy, fiber-packed brown rice, and I seasoned it with sazon. Sazon? It's a spice blend that's used a lot in Latin American cuisine. It consists of achiote, coriander, cumin, garlic, and oregano. It's got everything you need to make great tasting rice. Look at these cute baby round summer squash that we got from the farmer's market. I'm just going to slice these into wedges, saute them in a bit of olive oil, and finish with some sliced garlic. When your produce is good, no need to do too much. You want the sweetness of the zucchini to shine. And when that's done, I just squeeze a generous amount of lemon juice to brighten it up. In every restaurant that I would work at, we would always put our sauteed vegetables or proteins on paper towels to soak up any excess oils and juices. This made sure that our plates were clean when we serve and didn't have liquids spilling all around. Now that it's almost time to serve, I grilled that marinated chicken to get it nice and smoky. It's hard to beat grilled meat on a hot day. I also steamed some broccoli for them. I know you guys probably wonder why I would steam broccoli instead of roasting it, but it's what my clients prefer. It's now 1 p.m. and that means it's time to plate. We got the sauteed summer squash with garlic and lemon, steamed broccolini, achiote brown rice, grilled chicken, and off it goes. Healthy, packed with protein, fiber, and nutrients. Real summer backyard barbecue vibes. This is how I served filet mignon as a private chef in Beverly Hills. Today's market of choice was Gelson's in West Hollywood. I didn't have to pick up too much, but I like to grab my prime filets from here. If you ask them, they'll cut you steaks to order. I always ask for 7-ounce portions, cut from the center to get the nicest pieces. Back at my client's house, I start with the baby gold Yukon potatoes because they're gonna take the most amount of time. Give them a quick rinse, start them in cold water so that they cook evenly, season heavily with salt, thyme, rosemary, and boil until cooked through. And look at how great these steaks look. At home and in restaurants, I usually only season with kosher salt, but my clients like it with garlic powder, onion powder, and I, as always, like adding mushroom powder. These here are Vidalia onions. If you don't know, these are a type of sweet onion only grown in a certain part of Georgia. They are actually protected by law, the Vidalia Onion Act, and you can only call them Vidalia onions if they're grown in certain parts of Georgia. Isn't that fascinating? We get them delivered every once in a while when the season comes around, usually around mid-April. They don't have the sharpness of most other onions, and they are incredibly sweet, perfect for caramelizing. I just cook them down low and slow in olive oil, salt, and a bit of butter for flavor until they're super sweet. For one of my clients, if he is having steak, he is also having wilted spinach. Simply washed, blanched, squeezed, and sauteed in olive oil and salt. The other client, on the other hand, does not like spinach at all. Once the potatoes are done, I drain them and let them sit a bit to remove any excess moisture. Then in a hot carbon steel pan, I throw in the last of my rosemary, thyme, and garlic infused beef tallow from when I made prime rib, which is actually so sad, and I smash down the potatoes to get them extra crispy. Throw them into the oven at 400 degrees, and once they look like this, I flip them so that both sides get golden brown and completely crisp. Thin skins on baby Yukon Golds lend to great crispy roasted potatoes. We also have these beautiful wild mushrooms, so I cook them simply, just shred into smaller pieces, toss with olive oil, salt, and roast until crispy and golden brown. And for the last component, I just peel these heirloom carrots, oblique cut them, toss with olive oil, salt, and a bit of honey before I throw them into the oven. It's almost time to serve, so that means it's time to grill up the fillets. I coat them in olive oil before I get those grill marks that they love. I personally think they taste better seared in a cast iron, but they really enjoyed the charred flavor of the grill. It's now 1 p.m. and it's time to plate. Wilted spinach, honeyed heirloom carrots, crispy wild mushrooms, beef tallow crispy smashed potatoes, deeply caramelized Vidalia onions, and rare steak. I hope they enjoy it. Oh, looks like they enjoyed it. This is one long day as a private chef in Beverly Hills. There's a lot to do today, so I'm just gonna jump right in. We have guests tonight, 5 people total. Usually pretty easy and simple, but 2 of them will be starting with crab cakes and have fillets. 2 will be having miso black cod, and 1 of them will be having salmon. Oh, and also it's Friday, which means I still have to meal prep for the weekend. Fun. It's currently 11:30 a.m. First things first, as always, get my prep list. Getting organized is key if I want to get this all done in 6 hours. So I jump on crab cakes. My clients want them for lunch, and I will also be serving them as a starter for the guests tonight. Crack open the can and start going through to check for any shell fragments. Since it's lump crab meat, not much to dig through. which is always nice. Then for the binder, I combine eggs, Kewpie mayo, Dijon mustard, Old Bay, a bit of smoked paprika, kosher salt, garlic powder, and panko breadcrumbs. Also chives and dill. Give that a mix and fold in with the crab meat. The crab cakes are mostly just crab meat and are barely held together by the binder mix, just the way they should be. Then I portion them and let them sit in the fridge. Gotta make a quick remoulade with mayo, whole grain mustard, Dijon mustard relish, horseradish, fresh dill, a bit of Zapp's hot sauce, and fresh lemon juice. One of my clients doesn't like remoulade and prefers cocktail sauce, so I made one with ketchup, celery salt, Worcestershire sauce, and fresh lemon juice. I'd normally put a bunch of horseradish and Tabasco in it, but my client can't have any heat, so we play safe. For the fillets, season them with my client's favorite combo of kosher salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and mushroom powder. And for the miso marinade, I wanted to try Musashi's recipe, so I combined sake and mirin, then burned out the alcohol. Whisked in white miso, sugar, and gave it a blend because this miso was kind of chunky, like actual pieces of soybeans. Interesting. Then it came out silky smooth and shiny. Beautiful. Definitely try this recipe. It's really good. Then I clean up and portion my black cod or sable fish. I like to just cut out the bones. They slip out easily once they're cooked, but I know I'm not gonna have that kind of time when it's time to plate. I just slice around the bones, making sure not to cut through the skin, and you can just pull them all at once. There's a little bit of waste, but it's easy this way. Then I like to give them a nice sake bath to clean off any scales and get rid of any lingering fishy smells. Quick rinse, dry, and marinate until dinner time. It is now 1 p.m. and that means it's time to serve my client's lunch. Luckily, it's easy today. Crab cakes, remoulade, and cocktail sauce. Off it goes. For the weekend, she wanted some stuff for a salad, so she asked me to hard boil some eggs, clean lettuce, and I made a simple Asian dressing that I forgot to record. Next is meatloaf for him. This meatloaf contains bread, mushrooms, soy sauce, Worcestershire, garlic, onions, carrots, and celery that I sweat down, cool down, combine with ground beef and pork, salt, mushroom powder, pepper, an egg, mozzarella cheese, form into a loaf, and bake. I also made the sauce, but I didn't record it. Their soup of choice for the weekend is minestrone, so I get on dicing carrots, celery, green and yellow zucchini, and let that simmer in chicken stock to cook. Season with Italian seasoning, salt, tomato sauce, and also threw in some mushrooms I had left over. When everything's all cooked, throw in cooked farro for protein, chopped spinach, fresh basil, and some fresh lemon juice to bring it all together. They like this to be as gentle on the stomach as possible, so I don't add any onions, garlic, cheese, or beans. Then at the last minute, she asked for a brownie cake, so I just threw a simple one together, put a whole lot of chocolate in it, and threw that in the oven. I'm sorry, but the video got too long, so please follow for part 2. This is part 2 of one long day as a private chef in Beverly Hills. If you haven't seen part 1, go watch that, or you're gonna be confused. Anyways, I'm tired and there's no time to waste. Let's jump right in. To go with the miso cod, I made some jasmine rice scented with ginger. You know the drill. Rinse until clear, drain, use the finger method because I don't have much time, few knobs of ginger, bring to a boil, throw in the oven to steam for 25 minutes. I also made them frittatas to enjoy over the weekend. I slow roasted tomatoes, added blanched and chopped spinach, caramelized onions, the beat eggs, and fresh goat cheese before baking them low and slow. For veg, I peel and blanch asparagus, break down and blanch broccoli, cut and score some green and yellow zucchinis, season with salt, and let that sit to pull out some of that moisture. For the salmon, I just simply season it with salt. Our guest does not like pepper or any further seasonings on the salmon, and also likes it simply baked. No char, no skin, simple. Be nice. She's a literal child. Then I'm going to grill one of the pieces for them to enjoy over the weekend, and the other two I confit in olive oil to make salmon salad. Before I sear the zucchini, I soak up all that water that pools on top with a paper towel and give them a nice pan sear. After that, I saute some garlic slices in olive oil and drizzle it over the zucchini before I finished roasting them in the oven. Now we're nearing dinner time, which is at 6 today. Pretty early. I pull the miso cod and put them on a sheet pan so that they can get to room temp and cook quickly when I need to. Time is of the essence. And to go with the miso cod, I also smash these cucumbers, cut them up, and toss them with a yuzu soy vinaigrette and sesame seeds and let that sit in the fridge to absorb those flavors. Smashing them opens up little nooks and crannies so they can absorb more of that sauce. It's great when you're short on time. Now it's finally 6. Guests have arrived and I serve them the crab cake with the remoulade, a lemon wedge, and some caviar on top. They really love their caviar. As soon as that goes out, I throw the miso cod into the broiler to cook and get some nice color. One of the best things about miso cod is you don't have to tempt them or think about if they're cooked or not. Once they're charred on top, they're gonna be perfectly cooked. While they're enjoying their starters and drinks, I grill asparagus, steaks, one medium rare, the other medium well, and it's time to plate. Miso cod plate gets ginger scented jasmine rice, steamed bok choy, miso cod, of course, broccoli, and the smashed cucumber salad. For the young lady, baked salmon, steamed broccoli, and her favorite, the avocado rose. And for our 2 steak eaters, grilled asparagus, garlicky roasted zucchini with fresh lemon juice, the fillets, caramelized Vidalia onions. Vidalia onions? God. Vidalia onions? And the smashed cucumber salad since I had some extra. Once they're done, I serve them their brownie cake with ice cream for dessert, cleaned up, put all the food away for their weekend, labeled and dated, and by now it's around 9 p.m. Time to head home. Just kidding, I forgot to make the salmon salad, so I did that real quick and then I headed home. Hope you guys have a great weekend.